Come here. Here. The only one and we want some. Everybody's very cold. You know, how about this? One of those. And inside, there's two announcements quickly. One is Baruch Hashem's entrance.
Oh wow, Mazel
Tov. And also Mount Camus. Yeah, Mount Camus. So the endless mountain. So Mem Beis on Beis. But Simen Shin Yud Chet. A lot to do. But Misham, till the Mishnah Mem Beis on Beis. Yeah, they'll start next week. That finishes with the official. So then we start from Mukher. Mind will be happening. We will eventually revisit when we get proper time, but the mice, so we'll get to Mem Beis on Beis by the end of the morning.
It was a short Hakdama. Decided to kind of approach Shehiyah in general, but really what Garufa and ketumah are doing in the whole parsha. And I'll try to continue from what Kollel said last week, specifically the Shitas Rashi, not only Shitas Rashi. In general, I'm going to try to understand the Lomdus, the true Havana behind the scenes of what Garufa and ketumah are doing. Before I start, the Rashi says the following. I felt the same thing. I just described it differently to the Lomdus. Shehiyah is like an octopus, has its arms everywhere. But he says the following: Amar ani hakosev, hine shehiyah ve'atmana kehararim atluim b'se'ara u'maya deredife einon ve'en itanu yodea ad ma kibalti alay lefarish gefi da'ati ha'aniya u'me'et ha'oizer ha'amiti yesh'al ve'ezer yadricheni b'netiv ha'yashar ve'yamideni alay. I'll be able to make the Kabbalah positive connotation and get the voice feather. So we'll start with the Mishnah. Look, the Mishnah, we know, kirah she'etikua v'dashim vav lo yisnim alei ha'tavshin yef lo yiten ad she'igroi oi ad she'yiten esa'etem. And we know that Beit Shammai is extremely machmir. Remember that point? Extremely machmir. Beit Shammai chamin aval lo tavshil. Remember that. Even Garufa ketumah, Beit Shammai says a valotap. Okay, then you remember as being a calculator. Yeah? Well, Beit Hillel chami betavshil, we know that hemshir. Now we're going to start like this. Trying to do the repetition, but it's Chazal, one. Yeah, Achiglo, Zok Rashi, Hagecholim, Mishum, the Moisif Heaven. Vetama, I already told you. Kavishna Beperik Teleil, right? Shema Yekate Begefal. Akofalim, everyone, and when I say everyone, we mean we get showing you, and the last go, and the run. They all say that it's pretty evident to us that Rashi is turning out. We're over here talking about we have a problem of Hatman. Why? It seems like they have this fair assumption, an automatic association of Hatmana with Moisikad. Because he said Moisikad, he's probably bringing it into the world of Hatmana. Raman already told us last week. What was the motivation of Rashi? We'll get into that later, but at the end of the day, that is what Rashi seemingly is saying on the Rishonim are assuming that. And therefore, it leads to belief, turning this out, and we can see that by maybe the Rashi and others, they're saying, so obviously, what is Garufa doing for us? Garufa and ketumah is doing for us that it's going to be ois moisi feather. It's not going to be any more moisi feather. That's what Garufa and ketumah are doing for us. Now, if you look at the Rishonim places, but more the Ran and others, and they bring the Ran here, yeah. So they asked, I don't understand. How do you know there's another Rashi? There's another Rashi that tells us already back in back in the end of Amim leaking. Yeah, and this is what the Rishonim are at. The Hatman of the problem. Nigman who ain't toining. The Dabar Mosif Hevel. The Afilu Midoino. Don't forget that. Hatmana, the problem Afilu Midoino. Zera, Shema, Yatmin, Remetz. Now, what's Yatmin Remetz? It says Rashi. Zera, Shema, Yatmin. Yeah, Rashi says Shema, Yechate V'Gacholim. Sorry, נקטמנו את תוינים בדבר מוסיף הבל ואפילו לא דירו, כדתנן לקמן, לא בגפס ולא ברמץ, sorry, what's רמץ? Rashi speaking of what's רמץ? רמץ is אפר המעורב בגחול. So in the world of Atman at the end of Rabbi Madlikin, Rashi is clearly telling us Hatmana is an issue if you put it inside Remetz, which is what? Let's call it what it really is. It's Eiffel together with Gechalim. So the Rishonim are screaming out, I don't understand. By us, to be koitem, that is gufa what you're doing. So how did you alleviate the issue? I thought you're in the world of making it ois moisi feather. What's going on? And they all ask this. And the Ran says, Alma afa pisha natana efer mosi feather. And then it streams out like that. Shared emetz mechamem esatzoinen. Hold shemechamem esatzoinen moisif hevelu. Tekevan sheken. How can you save the day by doing ketumah? Garufa, I understand ketumah. Garufa, I can understand it makes the place moisif hevelu. But ketumah. Tekevan sheken. Efshar that he natan es haefer. Having it in a kol dehavik motion thought. The samuk. So if you say, okay, how does that help? What's going on? Questions understood, the Rishonim ask it, we understand. What's going on with it? So, before we answer this question, we'll bring another question. If you're really holding, that Rashi is holding, that the whole problem at hand is Moisef Hevel, which sounds like an issue of Mana, so now, we're trying to make it Ois Moisef Hevel. Really? If that's the case, let's go visit Daf Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph. Daf Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph. We know it's a very starts from Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph. We know Amar Litzak Bar Nachman. We're going to revisit this one. Let's listen, even though you probably know this tomorrow already. We had to hear it. But Amar Litzak Bar Nachmani, Amar Lashaya, Kitma veHuvara, Mashin Aleya Chamin Shotmu Kol Tzorkan, V'Tavshin Shabishel Kol Tzorkoi. From here I bring a raya. Shma Minen Mitzamek VeYachteloi Muto. I don't know if that's a raya. No, it's Muto over there. Shani Haka, the kitma. It's kitma, what's the finish? Obviously it's okay. No, I'll tell you what. Something happened. After the mindset kitma, fire back up. Shani Haka, and therefore it's huvera, and therefore it's tichala, because it isn't good. What's the finish? What's the shakman telling me that you'll be here, we'll get to later, but I'm just bringing one point from here. Now the tema, you would have thought Kivan the Huvera, it went back to its state and it's game over. Whatever you did in Kitma, you're in the clear. Okay? Kamash Malan, it's okay. Now, Shani Yachad the Kitma, see what Rashi? Oh, Rashi said, what do you say? Shani Yachad, he did a Maisa is. Oh, he's what's he but he doesn't say that. Shani Yachad the Kitma, I mean, it's kind of forced to do that because of the Gemara, right? But that's not the point. The point is just what Kitma does. And he says, "Begale daite, v'lo michale b'zimufi." Lama hu lo omer? Lama? Why is Rashi saying that? Rashi should have said, "I'm making ois moisi fefer." That is the name of the game over here. And Rashi is facing it according to the Rishonim. Elamai. This already leads us. This leads us to say the Chakira. Know me? I like it. Before we say the Chakira, I just want to show you that after the Ran and how they attack Rashi, so they end up saying a different malach. And they say, Ela Vadai, after they attack Rashi, like the Kasha we said, yeah? Ela Vadai, Ikaran Shel Dvarim, Divrei Rabbeinu Ha'Elohim, Ha'Nozim, Shepirshu, that the only thing in our vision right now is Mechate B'Gechalim. That's the only issue I have. That's what we're dealing with over here. And yeah, Shepirshu Da'achalai about Mana Cloud. Who's talking about Mana Cloud? So what if in two parashas of Zachasman, מה הקשר? אלא כגון שהקדרה יושבת על כיסא ברזל כיוצא בו, או שהיא תלויה בעוונים ששולים הקדרה נוגעים בכחול, מן אצלן התמנה בכלל, ומשום מה כל שגרופה כתום, here's the $1,000,000 word. דאיקה, heker. Therefore, we're not worried, he's this therefore it's Shabbos. Wow. That, how can you not? It's on the tip of the tongue, the Seigneur Batumah. What is this Maseches Garufa and ketumah doing for us? Is it the Gilui Das, which is in your heart? You're Megala now in your Pe'ula. I'm out of here. Ad kidei kach, and we'll come back to the session. Ad kidei kach, that the Rashba, you know what Lashon uses, you know? The Rashba uses the Lashon Miyash. I'm Miyash from this, I'm out of here. And that Pe'ula said, I'm okay, I'm out of here. And you see also others use to learn, we'll see the Rambam. The Rambam also uses a Lashon of Silum. Whereas you see clearly the Ran says it's a heker. Now, even though I worked hard on this chabura, not everything is perfectly the last side. The second, one side is a heker. If I really have to spell it out at this point in the chabura, I will. A heker means I did something here. Wow, you can give a reminder. That doesn't necessarily mean that. I did a pe'ula, however you want to magdir the pe'ula. But at the end of the day, in my mind, it was a gilui das of my mind. I'm out of here, guys. Oh. Lich'oira, vuvra will be nafkamina, and that is going to be a big kasha on the mandamar that says, finish it up. You know, I don't want to bring it up now, but just let's take it. Because hanika, if you say the maskana one, that then all I need is to give it dust. You're okay. So what if you did it before? But heker, it would be a kasha, and we'll figure that later, right? So right now we want to say that's the heker. Now, let's continue. If the daik in Rashi word, all the Rashi, but when the daik in the Rashi, you'll see that even though he says Moisif Hevel, and hence the Rishonim allow themselves to make the leap of faith and assumption that although ketumah and garufah gets us out of the problem Moisif Hevel, Rashi never said those words. He never said that garufah and ketumah gets you out of a situation that's Moisif Hevel. Speak out. It's still a Moisif Hevel, even if you ketumah sometimes. That why is that a problem? Okay, you're getting an answer. It says the Tanam. He doesn't say it's always Moisif Hevel. Even if you're mitzanin something, it still can be in a stat. Even if you're mitzanin something, you could be in a. Wait a second, I have something, I don't even know in degrees, but 100 degrees Celsius. So you did something to make it cool down, it's 80 degrees Celsius, not Moisif Hevel anymore. Avadi it is. Ella, you're leading already to the answer before that. Elamai, what are we going to answer in Rashi? So over here we can go to two different mouths. One, what Phyllis said last week, Shem Magini Shloimo, and we're going to see that I think it's even a Rosh Yosef, and even a Rishon. It seems like they're saying there's one general xero over here, Moisif Hevel, and it also implements itself in that one and also in Shimzia. But Rashi only says, I want you to come here. You have a situation in Shimzia. What do? I didn't say you have to do it Moisif Hevel. Do a pe'ula that's Nekali or das for out of here. Do a pe'ula, and what is a pe'ula? So over here I'll be Yitzhak Zayin the Sunday Machshava. I'll just my father always taught me and continues to teach me that when you want, I think it's passion. Daniel already said it's but when you want to judge something and look where it's holding, how do you know where it's holding? Like, how do you judge someone? But how do you judge? How do you check something? You really want to know where your kid is holding. Are we in a good place or a bad place? For sure it's true spiritual. I know that even physically what we have in this world, Olam Ateh is a good model for that concept. You see the trend. Where were you holding -1 the day before? A year before? Where are you now? You know also the two feeling of that. Where are you heading? That's what Rashi's saying over here. What do I mean? Rashi's saying, I don't need you to do right now, Oy Moisif Hevel. Aval Tareli that you're out of here. Do a pula negdi. Do a pula afucha. do something that you're showing. I don't really want this hot heat.
Well, why doesn't Rashi actually say that isn't the
Well, he never actually says the opposite either. That's what I'm telling you.
I agree that Rashi says move on. It was very strange. Rashi, he's not doing it. Why don't you say?
I don't know why he doesn't say Mishnah. I'm suggesting with you. I'm suggesting. Sorry?
They said that. See, it's how I mentioned. You want to Rambam. Yeah, that's what he said. Most of the
You can't attack me because why Rashi doesn't say. You can attack me if Rashi says fakir. But Rashi is not saying fakir.
No. But it's
And I just want to share with you. Yeah. Well, you understand what I'm saying, though. You can attack me and Bayam, but you understand what I'm doing? That's what you're doing. Now, I want to share with you that it's not only me saying it, way more than me, but Baruch Hashem, Samachti K'moitze Shalom, that I saw, first of all, the Rashi, he says the following. He still wants to learn Rashi's also fun. Nakuda is a different Nakuda that I'm talking about. I'm isolating what Garufa and ketumah is doing by Rashi to answer the question of the Rashi. I'm even going to want to say more than that. Wait, first, let's say Rashi is speaking about Fana. Let's say it's similar to a Ramanchik one to say B'Shem Ligin Shloim last week. One Chadak Zega, and it's all the same. It's not really Dafka Fana. It's the Fezel across the board, Shehiyah, Papa, everything. But just look at this word. On the Mishnah. You want to look at Chasam Sofer. Lo yiten ad sheiglo. See in Rashi Zal ad sheiglo v'gechalim d'moisi feber. And then he says, Tosus asks on, no. V'nei shitas v'sfaras Rashi Zal likach. Tekan hatmana ayri. Because he's still like the Megillah Shlomi. It is upon this giant. I'm just trying to even works. That's in the list. Tekan hatmana ayri. ובכל מקום, ריפה וקטימה מהני. אף אחד גם דמויסי פבר. Who is the coming to answer? In fact, it was a show. It's still Moisey Fever. What did you do? I don't understand. אף אחד גם דמויסי פבר for a day. It went from 100 to 80 degrees Celsius. Go crazy. Yeah? כיוון דגלס ועביד מייסה גלי דייטי דלו ניחא לי בחיתוי etc. You see clearly that the Rosh Yosef is saying it. Now, it's not only the Rosh Yosef.
What? Warm sand.
אתה צודק.
What the hell you God doesn't ever happen? Chashlit isn't here.
Because what we're saying, if I didn't say this, but if you say it, now I'm going to share with you. Chazal Sofer says, and there is a kasha on this, and you know what I said earlier before. Hatmana is velafta. That's even worse in the Magen Shlomo, correct me if I'm correct. He's not saying across the board everything. He's saying, Zillah Atmana Bichlal. I'm using Atmana as a mushal term. And wherever, and there is the Rashi, someone could have jumped on me, but Rashi refused Atmana sometimes, like I'm saying. That, Chazal Sofer, I don't have time to deal with it, but he answers, that's only in the Havameh, it's not Merkana. And you don't say Kanes is it, because I have to be focused on what we're talking about today, but that is dealt with, and that is a good question. But Rashi, Chazal Sofer, I'm going to show it to you side. It's a lot about small, and he foolish says that it's Hatmana Lav Dafka. I'm going to read it to you now, Bineda. It's not Hatmana.
Did Rosh Yosef say that?
No, now Chasam Sofer is going to say that. The Rosh Yosef didn't say that exactly.
Well, that's Rosh Yosef. It's going with Tatmana. Is it? That's very small.
Because it's not really. He says Hatmana, as the Marshal explained the last week, it's not really Hatmana. It's the ideas, even Rosh Yosef would say that, because it's not like that. It's really the Moisef Hedel behind the scenes of Hatmana, and also Moisef Hedel Nashia. It's all across the board type of idea. But the Chazal Sofer says is more stark, it's more extreme than the Magen Shlomo, and more stark than. By the way, also here it sounds the Magen Shlomo. So, but let's go to the Chazal Sofer. If you already asked it, when he's Magdir the Gedel. Veda. Because you asked, I'm bringing it in now for you, so hopefully you're listening. Veda. The Afagav the Yesh Loima, the kirah Biklal, Zeras Moisif heavily. מוי דרש"י, שאינה הטמונה, שהרי אינו טומן בתוכה. וכמו שתפסו עליו כל הראשונים, ain't true what they all said. אלא בגזירס הוספת הבל היא. That is the name of the game over here. And now he says enough Ramina, you can sleep on it. It makes a lot of sense. Don't forget, Shia and Chazal are a bit in the same ballpark. I'm not going to get into it now. And he says it'll be a more big enough for me based on how I'm telling you to make Rashi. That if you do a Maaseh Atmana, who knows what the difference is between Atmana and Shabbos or not? But even if it's not, Moisif Hevel. ודווקא מינו, כשאין בקיר האחרון כל כך שיוסיף Hevel. מותר להעמיד עליו בשבס. וליקה, don't make a mistake, וליקה למימר, בשבס אסור להטמין אפילו בדבר שאינו מוסיף הבל. Don't you dare say that, say no. The Atmana ain't כאן. I'm telling you, Rashi doesn't really mean Atmana that you're associating with Atmana. ודווקא כשמוסיף הבל, then you're game over. הווה בכלל זה לעשות סופה סבל. אבל כשאינו מוסיף הבל, Atmana ain't כאן. You have to put, but wait, you have to put that together, that when you do a Maaseh, right, I call that trend. What I said, I call it, right? Everything is a trend. So the Chazal Sofer speaks this out beautifully. And he says, I'm sorry that I'm reading, I feel like I don't do that, but it's mamish. ולפי הניידית, בוודאי רמץ חם הוא תפי לשער. Even רמץ, yeah, קיטמה, שקויה, hot. וסופר להתקרר, we know it's סופר להתקרר, זה לא משנה לצוין. כרגע זה חם. אם לא שיחטא בו, we're going to have to play with it, how come it's not in the keep going? ויבער הגחל שבתוכו כל עת כדי שישאר חמו. ועתה, מי שבא להטמין קדירתו בדבר המוסיף הבל, here's the clincher. הרי כל כוונה סוי, גילוי דעת. כל כוונה סוי לא הוסיף חום לקדירה סוי. That's why the problem, when from the beginning you're doing atmana. Because that is the system setting up a hot system to cook it. ואם יטמינו ברמץ שהוא עתה חם, game over. That's the first thing to do. ומוסיף הבל, יקל למיכש. לאחר שעה, it's going to start playing with it, make it hot. שיתחיל הרמץ להתקרר, יחטא בו להבעיר גחל להשיג חומו. שהרי כל מקרא תפילת כוונה סוי, it's the now, it's obvious, and it's Maaseh. היה להטמין קדירתו במוסיף הבל, לכן חיישינה. מה שאין כן, when you have an existing situation and a trend, you're going down, you're doing something, מה שאין כן, כשקדירתו תחת עומדת אצל האש, והוא בא וכותב, ונושן אפשר כדי לצננו, status quo, hot, let me throw. But you're showing me, נמצא עיקר קטימה, נמצא עיקר קטימה סוי, לצננו, like you said, ולהסיר חומו, וכדי רש"י לחסותו ולצננו, וליקה למיכה, שמה אחר כך, I'm not worried anymore, he's going to play, just did a פעולה נגדית, פעולה הפוכה. ממילא, I'm okay, עד כאן טוב, דבריו, there's more to say about it, but חבל, he says it over and over again, it's very repetitive, but. So עד כאן, we see that a new mahalach can explain Rashi, even when, not me, because it's a step more than the Maggid, and we wanted to say that it's more extreme, that Lamaiseh, why is it more extreme? Because Rambam, he said, one is lav dafka. The only thing I care about is similar, but he's not saying that one is lav dafka, he's saying it's very similar.
Yeah, they're right.
Maram also. Yeah, Maram, I have it.
There are also the end when he says because at the time it says it's the same way.
Okay. Yeah. So okay. So the Meiri actually also says the same thing. Same thing, more like sound like the and he says that a lot of people get the board and understanding Rashi. And this is what sounds like the Meganish, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, and it says like this. ויצים לא ייתן לתבשיל עד שיגרוף או יקטום, שכל שאינו גורף או קוטם מוסיף הבל הוא. ומכאן אתה רואה לדבריהם, לפעמים ברש"י, ששהיית הקדירה לקירה שגחלים שלה מוסיפים הבל, והטמנה בדבר המוסיף הבל, הכל בדין אחד. הכל בדין אחד. וכשם שאסור להטמין בדבר מוסיף הבל, אף בסילוקו מעל הקירה ככה מטמין בדבר שאין מוסיף הבל, לגבי קירה שאינה גרופה לכתומה. Fine. Okay. Then he says, he asks a kasha on Rashi. I don't think he looked in the sugya yet, but he says the following. And then his answer to this kasha is the same piece what we're saying. And he says, אלא שקשה לפרש לדעת זה, what we said, there's a case of a person taking a kupa. Yeah? אלא שקשה, מה שאמרו kupa שתמן בה, so the Gemara over there talks about jai moichim. You're turning jai moichim together with in a kupa in a little box. And it says you're not allowed to אסור להניחה על גבי גפת. Now he says, I don't understand. Over there in the case is, if we will not do the case, והרי, you have to leave a 5 here, והרי הטמנה זו בדבר שאין מוסיף הבל הוא, ואסור לו שיבה. And he asks, ולהשתה על גבי גפת. ומה תוספת הבל? Why are you not allowed to do this? גפת is not worse, כך הוא משואל המעיד. גפת is not worse than ketumah. You're both very hot. So what if you did cook and you put anything on the thing? It's still very hot. על גבי גפת. ומה תוספת הבל לגפת על גחלת כתומה? אלא, ויסוד we've been saying all the time, אלא, it's the trend. אלא שהם מפרשים, שהגפס כל שאדם טומן בהם דבר חם מוסיף הבל בכל שעה. אבל הגחלים הכתובות, he says, מתנב, not exactly the same, but you did a ma'aseh that overall the defense is going to go down. מתנבנות והוכות והחמוד שלהם קלוש, and therefore here's the punchline. אבל זו אינו מושיב הקטרה על גחלים ממש, ועוד טעם אחר, sorry, he gives a טעם, and his third טעם is up. ועוד טעם אחר, and he says, ועיקר, שהמטמין בגפס, I should have only come to this one, מראה בדייטוי שמכוון לאכן כמה שיוכל, אבל זה מראה בדייטוי שאין דעתו בחמימות גדול, אז זו נטולה נגדי, שהרי ממעטו בידיים, בכתימתו או בגריפתו, זוהי שיטת גדולי הרבונים. Now here is what I tried to make you remember, מופיע שם my goal. What in the world can do the problem? So you can do like some short and say, we stick in the Rashi, or you can say, Adu, but we all know that's Yachasi, but that's not like the best answer. So he says, this is the reason Rashi goes. We know that we said a malach of Tano. What's Pshat in Tano? When you did Grifa in Tano, especially in front of the Rishon, that you took everything out, what can be the problem? That's why Rashi says, it's still Moisifedo, that's the problem. But here he's suggesting another thing. And you see, clearly means this, even though in this Lashon you're not going to see it, because later on he tries to answer that question that's about to be showing you. So it's clear he's saying this. ויראה תם לדבריהם, רש"י, שאילו לא באו עליה מטעם מויסיף הבל, אלא משום שמא יחטא, כמו שהסבר בשיטתנו, that's going to explain later on that בית שמאי, תנח בכתומה, I understand, you can still have issues here, כתומה, it's still a problem, right? It's still being מחטא בגחלים, theoretically, the common is very calm, that's כתומה, but בגרופה, איך שהם מפרשים, if you understand, Rashi says ketumah is you take all the column out of there, but the low it's one column, yeah? בגופה, איך שהם מפרשים, גופה שזה גם, heker man like if you're going to it לגמרי, what's going on? אלא that's what forced Rashi to say his מהלך, etc. Fine. Yo. What do you say? According to Rashi?
I did that.
Because Rashi... Wait, time out. Could you raise it? I'm still happy. Because we're saying now there's two teams. Soon I'm going to show you more. We're showing you on both teams. But one team is heker. One team is gilui das. Rashi says it's gilui das. So if Rashi says gilui das...
Gilui das. Why don't you tell me?
Very good question. I was battling with that the whole time. And at the end I'm going to try just an answer. I mean, it's the future. It's going to be a very big critic. But yeah, good question. I like the questions in Islamic, but it's a good question. But let's move on and hopefully I'll get the answer. Okay, now just to the more you see that we're showing you more focus on the same thing as Ishma. So I want to share with you three Rambam. It's beautiful. That is beautiful. I mean, you probably know the Rambams already, but Rambam number 1. Yeah? פרק ג' הלכה ד' כיצד תבשיל שלו בישל כל צורכו וחמי שלו כמו כל צורכן או תבשיל בישל כל צורכו בכל זמן שמסתמק קריאה שלו אין משינותו etc. Why? זרע שמא כדי להשלים בשבילו כדי לצורכו לפיכך אם גרף האש הקטירה באפר או בנוערס הפשטן הדקה או שאמרו הגחלים שהרי כמכוסות באפר תדצה you're in the time out. Let's look at כסף. כסף משנה brings the רמח חוסר רמח צר חיות איך הסיך דעתו שהרי בדעתו לאוכלה בלילה. He's planning on eating the stuff on the light. You're telling me to see it, but completely tricky. שהרי בדעתו לאוכלה בלילה ומי לא עסקינן ואין לו תבשיל אחר כי אם זה we're also talking the cases that this is the only food he has for today, especially Lomdus. ומי לא עסקינן ואין לו תבשיל אחר כי אם זה והטעם הנכון. Here's the circle in my Rambam. משום דאביד heker. Heker is going to remind you. I'm not adding here. I can say that because that's what I said in the heker. I'm now doing a Maseches heker in the ketumah that it's going to remind you I'm not playing with this anymore. And that's what I'm trying to say. Kivan the goof או כתב ולא אתי לכתויה, וכן פירשו רבויסאי, he says. עד כאן,
Why the fact that you get steered from that?
because the way the Ramach learns, he asks for the Rambam. His submission just quoted the Ramach now. The way the Ramach learns, he's understanding Rambam saying it's a Gilui Das. Gilui Das for what? You're adding here? This is your only tafshil. This is your only tafshil. That's the answer to the Rambam. Master. That's how I would explain that. Inakinam. The reason is I don't think that Ramach said I don't think Gilui Das. It's all heker. So he said, I don't know. Rambam is asking, you're right. We're not talking about that, we're talking about Gilui Das. But he said that Gilui Das doesn't hold water. That's why I don't hold Gilui Das. Rambam probably says. V'yesh loimar, for the Rambam. Zok the Kesef Mishneh. V'yesh loimar. Mike, you're going to tell me I was too fast. You're going to tell me I was too fast now. V'yesh loimar, ledas Rabbeinu dekimnu l'Rabbanon shekol shegaref hu mesir taito. He didn't ask that. Like, Mike, he's doing a pull of mesir taito. Number one. Rambam number 2. Yeah? Oh, and by the way, it's Geshmak, because later on the Rambam says that himself. Sheharei hesiach dato, tafshil. Ein gozlim shemei chatev dato. מה word? What the Rambam thinks of it. באמת דברים אמורים. Rambam number 8. I mean, גימל ה'. בקיר שבלה מועט, אבל התנו, אף על פי שגרף האש ופיסה באפר, maybe this will, let's look at your question. Yeah? Alright, let's see. באמת דברים בקיר שבלה מועט, אבל בתנו, this is your game. אבל התנו, אף על פי שגרף האש, או פיסה באפר, או שסיכור בקש ובגבה, אין משים בתוכו. ולא על גביו, why? הואיל ולא חם ביוסר? It's a steer at your Gilui Das. You have a matzav that's extreme over here. Extreme. A tanur is very cham, especially according to the Rambam, because I know you asked, what do you mean? Some wish to answer. Because the Rambam says, וחוששים שמי יחטא בזו אש המהותה אף על פי שהיא אש קש ובא. Oh, he continues to say, ולמה אסור לשהות בתונו אף על פי שגוף, this is already ו', מפני שהגורף אינו גורף אלא רוב האש בעצמו, כי אי אפשר לגרוף כל נאי טה. Wait. This answers your question that you asked, I think, one time last week to I understand, but I don't. Yeah, it's wasting time because there's no way from Rambam it's totally clear to everything. There's still a debate. That's not the nekuda. The nekuda is the following. So you see, to answer your question, Gilui Das is good, but what is Gilui Das showing? It's showing that this is what you meant to do. But if the Nesius strings otherwise, it's a steer to what you meant to do. Okay, you can ask those questions, but at the end of the day, you can hear the other side. It's not a strange thing to just say, because when you see that it's so hard, you didn't like it. But you can't be black and white. You can't just only. You can dress black and white. You can't always be black and white. It's not. What do you mean? He's trying to do a ketumah. When you do a ketumah and you're telling everyone I'm out of here, you're not out of here. You're saying that. Say it. Let's go back. Take it out. Take it out with me. Next Rambam. Rabbi, I want to give you time to pray for me. Next Rambam, yeah? Next Rambam. Tafshil Chai, Shelo Bishel Klal. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll time. You threw something wrong into the thing, yeah? So the Rambam says, you're all in the clear. The Gemara says in the clear. But the Ramah, and that you don't say how he does, but he says like this. He says, Lichora needed. This is a case of Mishnah. לכאורה נראית דווקא ומשליך לתוכו עבר חי. אי אפשר להתבשל בלילה, משום דנסח די תמיני. אבל בפירוש המשנה, the Rambam said a bit differently. כסב רבנו, וכשתבשל בשיר ולא בשיר, ישימו בו בעת התמונתו דבר חי, כגון בשר או ירק, to make things short. And he says, if the Rambam is saying ירק, it's even if you get מבושל really fast. That's a problem, says the Rambam. That's a problem. Why? Because he's learning off the heker. The heker is not going to last more than 1 hour. A yerek gets cooked fast. He assumed obviously that gets cooked up and he did, but that's a fair assumption. And therefore, we see again what's the answer? Because he's learning off the heker, and we're not learning off Gilui Das. Now, we'll say what Abu Shmuel, you brought it up, the Gemara. That we said the Mitzamik V'yafelo, we want to bring a raya, and the Gemara says, no, it's cooked like that, there's no raya. The Gemara says, so what's the raya? It's obvious. And then what's pshita? And then it says, no, it's chukah. So this Shakla Talia, I wish I had time more, but never mind. This Shakla and Talia goes beautifully, like you mentioned on your own, to the Mandamal that says Gilui Das. Because Gilui Das, Ad Kedei Kach, that if I were to say Marcus would probably could have a smile with Marcus, but Yeah, so I know it's not the most yeshivish malach, but I can say it. He says that the chocolate tar is mamash what we spoke out. And he says that mamash the hava would be that you think you need a heker. And the heker is gone, I need to be like the ramach. And the heker was gone, now that it's over. Game over. Kamash on me, all I need is gimudah. And he says that mefugash, if you don't believe me, it's highlighted in 3 night here. So Rambam, the thing makes you spell point the Rashi. Yeah? No, not yet. Now the green one? What? Why? Yeah, you're right. Now I'm not going to find it. It was only the highlight. Here, show me that. וכיוון שהוא ורבת להיכר, וכמה שמונה אפילו אחי שרי, משום דמצטמק ויפה לא מותר, ומשם נשם יחד לקדמה, ולא הבין מה שתראה. כי סבור עדיין כתמו ניכר, ואיכה הקרא במצץ, ואיכה הקרא, מה נראה, הוא זוכר שמשנה, לא, כי אלא דינו ניכר כלל, וסק עדיין תחת רלמיסה כמה יסקר אמר, תלעניין מצטמק ויפה לא מהנסך חדש, כמה שנסך חדש, הוא קרא פעם. מילא, כמה סכן לזה, and not כדי כך, we want to end the chabura, now we're going to give it Wait a second. So what are the other teams going to say? The one that are Gimudas, which is the Rashba. What do you want to explain in Rashi? What's going on? Sorry. Imaran will be made. What did he say? Heker. So I like this in the Rashba. It's a pashut. That you'll say, like he said here in between the lines. Still enough of a heker. I don't think it's a saying when you have a fire, whoever did alay, barbecue, yeah? Something stayed in the barbecue that you did. If you took it out, oh, you want still to heat it up? No problem. Put it out. You still have, I think it's fun. But I did see an achloin. That time I would say it over. Crazy mala. I want to just hear it. It's mavia kadad thing which I don't want to say now. I will say because it's emes lamito. So if you look carefully, one problem with this whole kabura, well, not the kabura. I think it's emes, but there's two. One shaila I'm asking everyone. It's a bit of shaila. If it's Gilui Das, which seems like the base Yosef even speaks out Gilui Das, and Ishoel, if I live together a montrose in one house, as long as Shul says it's a boy Li, the Gilui Das in his mind. And stop saying it. I didn't see anyone asking someone does it. Lama se boil bishvili. If it's a heker in the pee, I'm Gilui Das, lama se boil Li. I'm not trying to answer that. I'm just trying to answer that even the ones that say heker, I saw them one time. There's the Ran that says also Gilui Das. Yeah, why is he saying Gilui Das? So you can be a lapdog and if you listen, he never said that. One time he said that. Don't take it so seriously. Or you can say Modik. I don't want to say it, but maybe you could say, yeah, that the heker, and that will help the shakal and tar that Avam Shmuel we spoke about. That the heker is also in your mind. It's a crazy chiddush. I wouldn't say it on my own. I saw a finish saying it, so I'm saying it. That maybe even they hold. Now we're switching the teams. Meaning, whenever it says Gilui Das means. Like the Rashba says, I'm mesalek myself from here. So if you have a matzav that's not renewal, that's fire and that's still very hot, sorry, then you can't be meyash from that. And therefore, will be a ton. The ones that say it's a ken in your mind. I'm making an active das in my mind. I'm out of here. I shouldn't use the word. Hekted in my mind, I don't want to use this. So that is the best safety shield no matter what. But if you're saying I'm meyash, you can't say I'm meyash, but we see it's not a matzav yush. And therefore, when the Tanur saw it, and therefore we can make their own work, but I think it's a big finish. And I prefer, as Rabbi Chanan Wasserman says, Adif litchok et hamila, מאשר litchok et השכל.
I haven't had the ticket to the alien. Yeah.
There's so much parameters there. What is it like? Who is it not? There's so much.
This one. Okay.
Right.
That's not making it around the end.
Okay.